Hi, I'm testing one, two, three. I was hoping that the washer doesn't drown me out as I'm sitting here in the apartment. One thing I've noticed was that I never really said my apartment, his apartment, our apartment, and he's also done the same, the apartment. Um, and for me, I know that's been a purposeful. Um, we've had conversations when he was more clear about why he's here in this apartment. And he asked me, and that was when he was feeling more clear. So I told him because we were in an emergency situation, and because my home is being renovated, and I have a feeling of what might possibly could happen at my house, that this would have been the best situation for him to have a place. I was also looking very mindfully about where, and I've said this before in other videos about the location, access to a firehouse up the street, and things like that. And until I could find more permanent accommodations. And already knew going in that it was not going to be easy because of resources, hard to find who to ask, what questions to even ask. And I was just hoping I would find something before something happened. And something happened. So it feels like a week in the making now that I look back on this, where he had stopped dialing 911 to go to the emergency room and complain or say something about his foot, when really he doesn't know how to communicate that he needs mental help. He does not know what to say, the language. And I've said this in the past where he is missing almost 20 years of life experience, you know? So he's missing about 20 years of life experience. He doesn't really know how to ask for help, the right kind of help. So what he would do is that he would go to a hospital and complain about, now I'm not saying he didn't have pain, but complain about his foot or his leg or things like that, in hopes of them keeping him for, what he really needed, but he didn't, again, did not know how to communicate these things. So this last week, and I'll go over the day. So Tuesday, he went to the clinic. He went to, there's actually two local clinics, and he went to the clinic and this is what he told me, but then he told them something different. So he told me he twisted his ankle. He said he fell down and he twisted his ankle. And I was like, okay, because he's a runner, right? And he called me to come get him, to pick him up. And I went to go pick him up, right? And when I saw him, I could tell that he was unregulated. I can, tell. And when we talked, I was, trying to be as calm as possible and all this other stuff. And he told me, yeah, he twisted his ankle. And then even on the car ride back, he's saying a dog bit him on the ankle. And again, I'm starting to suspect something where, of course, he's not being truthful. And I'm starting to suspect that he's really like downgrading in his health, his mental health. And so I didn't necessarily call him out on that. I just said, "Oh, so you wait, if a dog bit you, you're supposed to get a shot." So I asked him about, "Oh, did you get a shot?" And he's like, "No." And then I was like, "Oh, the dog bit you, you're supposed to get a shot." And then he didn't say anything, and we kind of left it at that. And we came back here and all the other stuff. But then the next day, he even had a band-aid and everything wrapped around his leg. But the next day, he was walking normally, totally fine, no complaints. So I'm still kind of like on guard a little bit. A day or two later, I get a call from a different hospital about him. And again, he's not dialing 911. Somehow he's getting a ride to the hospital, to the emergency room. And this time, he is being a little bit more truthful about what's going on with him. And that's what they communicate to me. And so I go, um, they don't really tell me anything. I just go and pick him up. And what I did tell them is that please do not release him until you see me. We've been through this before. So I went, we picked him up, I picked him up, and I guess more conversation started. I didn't want to make him feel like what he's doing is wrong, but I was trying to see, are you ready now for a therapist? Are you ready now for a psychiatrist? And he seemed kind of hesitant to say yes, but eventually he's saying yes. So I start looking, and this is, I feel like in retrospect, I feel like that was my mistake. I should have already had somebody on deck. So I start looking, and now moving forward, I'm gonna have to have somebody on deck, whether he says yes to it or not. Um, Meanwhile, following up with doctor like reports, and I'm getting bills now, because he thinks he is handling his medical insurance. He has no idea about medical insurance. And that's why I keep saying that he's missed 20 years of life experience. He has no idea. All he believes that, you get the insurance and they'll give you free stuff. He doesn't understand anything other than that. Um, so on my end, I'm paying some of these bills that he's racking up. Meanwhile, I kind of know, I'm starting to feel like he does need some support. He needs support. And I'm trying to figure out how to go about doing this. Again, it's such a sticky mess here in the United States when it comes to mental health. Not just health in general, but mental health especially too. So things for him and me came to a head on Sunday. He had asked me about going to the movies Saturday, and I told him no, because the last two Saturdays he's left the theater because he was afraid. And I'm starting more and more to call it out when I see the things, not in an accusatory way, but just saying, you had symptoms and you left, or you're doing this, these are the symptoms. And then I just leave it at that. I'm not trying to argue with him about it. I see what I see. I'm noticing it for him, and I'm not going to engage with, is this true or not, kind of thing. And by Saturday, he seemed kind of okay for the most part. I brought him groceries, and he, it was almost like it was like yo-yo. So he was also cleaning his own room. Like, he was making the efforts. It was like he's doing well, then he's not doing. He's doing well. It was almost like hour by hour, some things were going on with him, and I didn't know for sure if I just needed to go ahead and take him myself and convince him to admit himself with me. because that way he would have been able to say exactly what he needed to say versus, oh, my toe hurts. So I thought about it, and even Sunday, where I think I'm trying to remember, did I call him to make sure he got his medicine, or I came over? Yeah, so that's what happened. Saturday he did not take his morning medication, and I tried to convince, like, I think I did try to call him Saturday and he didn't answer. And I kind of was doing my own thing Saturday. So by the time I got over here, I realized, yeah, he didn't take his medicine. It was like 2 or 3 o'clock, dropping off his groceries. And I just told him, just go ahead and take your afternoon medication. And he did. And then Sunday, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and go over there. And so I came over here, gave him his medicine. He was in the bath. It was around 7. He was in the tub, which was good because we've been working on that. And so I, stayed out here, took a little late, early morning nap because I was exhausted and I'm still exhausted. So he came out, he seemed kind of okay, got him to take his medicine. He started doing some things. And then again, I'm starting to see like there's like up, down, like happening in which wasn't happening before. And so I went ahead and decided, I was like, if this is gonna happen, it has to happen now. So I, dialed the crisis hotline. This is him right now. Hello. Oh, what's your ID number? Yeah, on your bracelet. On your bracelet. Okay. Yeah. What's your ID number? Who's Michael Bond? Yeah, tell me the number. Okay. Um, I'm out. Like, how are you feeling? Okay. What did they tell you about your medicine? Who's the name of your doctor? Okay. Oh, can you spell that? Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, oh, I see. Alrighty. Well, I gotta talk to your doctors. Yeah, I'll tell them to call me. Okay. All right. I'll talk to you later. No, I want to talk to them on the phone. Well, I didn't ask for the address. Okay, I want to talk to the doctors. Okay. Well, I'll call them later then. Yeah, I'll talk to them later. Well, you're doing okay. You said you feel good. Well, I'll talk to your doctors. Well, wait for your doctors to tell you. Okay? We'll talk to your doctors. Talk to your doctors. Okay? Okay. I was trying to tell the story chronologically, so of course that was just my brother. He's trying to escape, I'm just be honest. I have to be strategic on what I say to him, and I'm trying not to tell him certain things because then he'll turn around and say somebody is coming to get him, which is not true. I'm actually right now uh, trying to figure out how to communicate with them. Um, there's so many laws around privacy and things like that. So yeah, so he needed care, and he was even acting out wanting to go back to Alabama to hospital there. And he's very smart. He's very clever. So what he wanted me to say just now was that I'm coming to get him so he could tell somebody else that, which is not the truth. I need to know what his condition is. I'm not coming to get him until I talk to a doctor. That's what I told him just now. And yeah. So part of this is that this was temporary. I knew that. And I'm trying to find long term care. He is trying to fight me on that. And he doesn't understand a lot of things. He literally was just admitted this morning at this place. And like I said, I have no intention on going to get him. And it's kind of good that he doesn't know where he is. Because, yeah. So, yeah, this is hard. This is hard. And he's tried this before when it comes to like once I admit him, then he tries to get out like seriously the next day. And I got to find ways to let the people who are in charge of him know that I am his caregiver and I just need to know like what's happening, not just so that he is safe and that he stays safe, because he was released out of a hospital before and he went missing. And that's my biggest fear right now. Even last night, even though I had to go to work the next day, I slept the best I've ever slept in a while. And I shouldn't even have to say that, but because I knew he was being taken care of. And I knew that there were people there who could take care of him. And that includes even me, where if he's with me, I can't even guarantee that he's going to be taken care of. So, yeah, that's where we are right now. And quite honestly, I think he was having a bad reaction to this medication that even though I was giving it to him every day. And a lot of people say, oh, he went off. No, he did not go off his medication because I was giving it to him every day. every day. This is hard, and I have yet to even tell my parents yet where he is right now, because they've been through this on and off for like almost 5 years, and me finding him, seeking him out, you know, that kind of thing. But now that I know where he is, I need him to get the care he needs. And I need to actually have the time. Even when he was still in Alabama, in that hospital, I kept telling him, it's like, tell them 30 days, tell them 30 days, because a lot of these places you can commit yourself. And that's fast forward now, basically Sunday, yesterday, he agreed to go. And we went to like the place that, on recommendation of the crisis people that came. I literally had them come here. I needed a paper trail. So I went to the one hospital. They said for sure that they would take him, and we went there. And even there, he tried to run. But then he came back by himself. So, yeah, that's where we are right now. And he's trying to get out. This is to the benefit for me right now that he doesn't know too many of the lingo, and I'm trying not to hip him to too many things, because he's clever, but not that clever. He's clever enough to get in and out of things. He can survive, but I need him better. I need him well. Okay, I need him well, and I was even thinking now definitely is the time to get a lawyer, family lawyer, and figure out a lot of these things. Like, it's got to start happening. Like, I can't afford certain things, and people who know how to do the things, they know how to finagle the system, not finagle the system, but you know what I mean, know how to do the things. When there are people who have no idea, that's why there's so many people unhoused on the streets with mental illness. They don't know. Their family don't know. They don't know how to do any of this stuff. And nobody's really telling you. Like, I mean, let me just pull some. This is some of his release forms. What they'll do is just hand you a list of phone numbers to call. You know what I mean? Like, that's all they'll do. They'll just, and there's nothing wrong with that per se, but it's just like, or hand you paperwork. The only reason why I don't even know this is in here is because I come through here every day. And it sounds like it's probably him again. So I'm just gonna not answer it. And so, yeah, they just hand you a bunch of things, paperwork, numbers to call. But they don't know, they don't tell you what do you say? How do you get the care that a person needs if you don't know how to do it? You know, of course there's social workers, and that's for the folks who really have nobody, like nobody, you know? So right now, I'm gonna end this video because I'm gonna finish my contact form, because this is the best recourse I have right now. I know where he is. He's trying to convince me to say what he wants to hear so he can go tell them so that they can release him. When really, if his medication was really harmful to him, he can't go back on that medication. And at least I talked to a counselor last night, and she told me that, yeah, like it seems like they have to reassess his medication, and that doesn't take 24 hours. Okay, so I also have to use logic and reason here. So yeah, so let me send this email and move from there. Find a lawyer, and we've got to get him long-term care for good. With that, I say, take care.